Good morning.
Oh, yes. Good morning. It's actually midnight. Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Yes,
This is our
happy
first
Pride
episode
Month.
in June, so we didn't get to say that before, but happy Pride Month. Are you watching any movies or shows that the different streaming platforms are showing for Pride Month?
No, I haven't seen any.
I know Hulu has like a category for it every June where and I think Netflix does too, where they just put like the LGBTQ plus stuff like in the forefront or whatever, like as soon as you log on. Like I know one for Hulu is Love, Victor. I've been seeing that being promoted a lot. I was already watching it, so
I seen the movie. I love that movie. Oh my gosh, the movie's so cute.
What, Love, Simon?
Yes, Love, Simon.
Okay, yeah, I saw that first. I can't remember when that came out. It was some years ago, but yeah, I saw that first. So when they was coming out with Love, Victor, I'm like, okay, let me watch that. And like the first season, like it's like I I loved the concept, but I kind of hated the writing and the acting in the first season. I thought it was a little bad, but I kept watching anyway. You know, it's a little 10 episode season or 9 episode. It's real short. So I kept watching, and then I watched season 2 last year while I was stuck in bed with morning sickness. And so now season 3 just came out like this week, I believe. So I'm still on episode 1. I haven't had time to watch it, but I'm definitely gonna watch that because that's just one of my shows now. I have to watch it. I love the lead actor on Love, Victor. He is so adorable. His little baby face and his cute little smile. I hate that in any show where there is like a gay man of color, though, they always have him dating this unattractive white guy. I'm for real, G. Like, it's been a trend.
That's so
it's
true.
starting to piss me off. Like, because it's Love,
true.
Victor. I saw it in 911 Lone Star, because that fine ass, I think he's Hispanic, the police officer is dating the super bland, average looking white guy, and then they always end up being like super attracted to them, and the white guy don't be feeling them like that. Ugh, it just annoys me. Like, come on now, they can do 10 times better than this. It's not even realistic. But whatever. That's my what do they call it? That's just my TV show relationship trope that I fucking hate. They always
Definitely
fine ass man of color with some ugly white guy. But anywho, so what's new for you this week? What have you been up to? Well, I shouldn't even say this week. I should say this month, because like I said, we haven't recorded an episode in like a good 3-4. Has it been a month?
Almost.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been definitely a while. New for me? Nothing really. I mean, I've been working on my business, trying to get it launched. Not really complete yet, but we're getting there. Almost there. But that's really the only thing that's really been new.
I can't wait to promote it for you.
Yes. But other than that, yeah, that's the only thing that's really been new.
Well, there's been a lot of new shit over here, but I ain't gonna talk about all of it. But really the biggest thing that happened recently is I had to quit my job, which is funny because I think on the last episode we recorded, I was talking about how I just went back, or maybe it was the first episode where I said I had just went back to work after being on maternity leave for 5 months, and I was like all proud of myself. I mean, I'm still proud of myself. I still did it.
Yeah.
I was still doing it. I could have continued to do it. It's not that I wanted to quit, but I really had to because I was on third shift. I desperately needed a day shift because then I could put my daughter in daycare. And her grandma was like, literally by my second week back at work, was already saying, "Yeah, you gonna have to put your 2 weeks in because I can't do it because she gotta put her to sleep at night."
Yeah.
And then after that, she's good. Like, she sleeps through the night. But yeah, I had to have somebody that could stay with her overnight. So that's what my mama was doing. But she couldn't do it anymore. Plus, she was about to go back to work. So, and then I started like trying to get my shift changed. And they couldn't give me a day shift. They could only do second shift. So I'm still having to look for a daycare that's open till 12 a.m. because I'm not getting off till 11 p.m. And there are some, like I found some good ones. But then came the cost of childcare, which is even higher when it's an infant. And I realized that I'm not going to be able to afford. What's wrong?
Okay, never mind. Carrying out, my bad.
Oh. I realized that I'm not going to be able to afford daycare regardless of what shift I'm working. That shit was $400 plus a week. Like, it's different for every daycare, but the highest, the lowest one that got back to me was $450, and then the highest was $525. $525 a week is $2,100 a month. That's more than any rent or mortgage that I would pay.
Right.
So that shit was just crazy. It just wasn't gonna happen. I would literally be going to work to pay for daycare, and I didn't qualify for childcare assistance. That was the messed up part, is that I was like in that weird area where I make too much money to get assistance, but I don't make enough to actually make, like, save any money if I'm paying for childcare. So yeah, it just got to the point where I'm drained. I'm working all night, then coming home and watching a 6-month-old all day, living on 5 hours of broken sleep. And my body was just tired, and everything was pointing to me having to quit because it just wasn't working out. So I hate that because I left only like 5 weeks after I started, 5 or 6 weeks. So that sucks. I didn't want to be that person, but I had to do what I had to do. So I'm back to being fully self-employed. So I kind of felt like it was an opportunity because I was working at my old job from 2016 to 2019. And I quit it in 2019. When I saved up so much money, I quit to follow my dreams. And back then I just didn't have the proper like discipline and like all of the resources that I have now to actually really be successful. So I was like still losing money. And it just like didn't work out. Like, I got down to like my last 1,000 and I was just like, man, I really wish that I had a second chance. Like, I wish I could just go back to when I first quit and I had all this money saved up, knowing what I know now. So I kind of felt like this was my second chance at that because I had actually saved up the same exact amount of money that I had when I quit the first time.
Wow.
And I'm like, this must be the universe. And I'm like getting a million other signs. Like, y'all know I'm into tarot readings and everything like that. And literally everything was telling me about how this was gonna work out. So I'm just I'm not even gonna say we gonna see. That's what I always say, we gonna see. Like, I don't want to put no kind of energy on it that makes it seem like I don't know I'm gonna be successful. Right. I need to like really start believing in myself,
manifesting it, period.
So it's gonna work out. We gonna be good. I'm excited for the future. So that's what's going on with me.
Love that for you.
This happened a few weeks ago. but we just now getting a chance to talk about it. Well, I'm just not getting a chance to talk about it. But This Is Us ended. I don't know if you watched that show.
I don't, but I know about it.
Oh my God, girl, you gotta watch that show. I started watching it late. Like, I think I started watching it like after they already had 2 seasons done.
Mm-hmm.
And that when I started watching it, that show had me crying almost every episode. Like, not even like, it's not like bad crying. Like, it's just the stuff that happens in there, and like, it's just so like heartwarming and emotional, and just like, that was my show, and it just ended, and it ended like so emotionally as well. And like, I remember I tweeted when I watched the last episode, like, yeah, nobody talked to me for like a month, cause I can't believe it's over. It's just one of those shows that like really sits with you,
that you just attached to, and you hate that it ends.
but it's also one of those shows that I don't think I could watch over again. Like, definitely it was just too much on my heart. But yeah, if anybody is not watching that show, I highly recommend. Now that it's over, I can give it like a legit rating. So I'm gonna go ahead and rate it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's and for anybody who doesn't, it's basically like following the trials and tribulations of the Pearson family, but it's just their dynamic and stuff like that makes it so. And it's like, it like brings the drama, but in a realistic way, and not like a really like what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know how Tyler Perry has a lot of drama, but it's like it's like wild ass ridiculous drama. It's not. It's like some shit that could literally happen in real life. And it's I don't know. It's like healthy drama. I don't know. Does that make sense?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my show. What else? Oh, I am having a crazy white bitch movie month. So if anybody has recommendations for their favorite crazy, and y'all know what crazy white bitch movies are. They're like Lifetime type movies. And like, nobody ever gets tired of watching crazy white bitches in movies.
Something about Lifetime movies are so addicting. I don't know what it is. Even though it's always the same plot, they do it differently to make it good.
It's like Lifetime can be super fucking corny, but it
really can.
It's just I love movies about obsession.
Yes. Yes. It's always the student obsessed with the teacher, or the guy that's a stalker eggs, and the wife moved on and married somebody, and it's just like, but those be so good.
The caregiver, like the nurse.
Yes.
Caregiver was obsessed with the wife's husband. It's a lot. But like, it's never going out.
But it's always so good.
And it's not just Lifetime movies. Like, I have a long list of like movies about it. I actually had an obsession movie month once too, but right now I'm specifically focusing on crazy white women. So, the other day I watched a movie on Prime called The Lie. That one was wild as hell. You should watch that if you have Prime. It has that girl from I can't remember the Netflix. It's some Netflix movie about a kiss in the title. I didn't watch those, but I know that's what she's best known for. But I know her from the first Conjuring movie. She was the little girl that was sleeping in bed, and like a demon kept grabbing her by her ankle. But yeah, she's the main character in that movie. Is wild. It's really wild. It's pretty fucked up too at the end. It's very fucked up, actually. Like, somebody needs to strangle that girl. she man, it's crazy. But yeah, that's my recommendation for the week. Maybe I'll start doing that, just recommending shows and movies, because that's all I do all day now. When I'm not working, me and Michael just watch stuff all day. So I got y'all on the recommendations. You watching anything new as of right now?
Only thing that I'll be watching is anime.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Where do you watch your anime?
I watch on Hulu and Crunchyroll for right now.
Okay, I've heard of
Right now I've been
Crunchyroll.
watching One Piece. That's the one I've been into lately.
That's the one with like 1 million episodes.
Yes.
Okay. I see so many tweets about this damn show.
But it's so good.
It's one of the action type animes.
Yeah, it's they're about pirates on a boat, but it's like really good. It has like action in it too. It's not like crazy action to where the other enemies that you'll see, but it's like it's actiony enough, you know?
Well, I actually am not into the action packed animes. I like the more like dramatic ones, funny ones, romantic ones.
They definitely have romantic. I haven't seen like the romance side of anime. I'm more of like into the action, horror, stuff like that ones. But yeah, they have a bunch of genres in anime. That's why you just can never get tired of it.
Yeah, I was like my best friend had put me onto a couple, so she had me kind of like looking at different ones on Netflix trying to find some stuff I'm into. So I did end up finding Uran High School Host Club, which is my favorite one, but they only had one season. So
I hate that.
Yeah. But I'm gonna try to find some new ones that are like that. I don't know what genre you would call that. It was like a combination of stuff, but that's exactly what I like.
Yeah, you
so
definitely
I just gotta
can
find some stuff.
Definitely get.
And then I actually did find some that I was into, but like I said, I was self-employed, so I be trying to find stuff I can watch while I work at home.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that I was watching weren't in English, so I would have to be like looking at the TV so I could read the subtitles, and I couldn't do that while I was working. So I gotta find some that I can watch while I'm working.
There's some that you can watch dubbed. They do have options if you want to read the subtitles or not. And certain animes I watch, some I'll watch dubbed and others I'll watch sub. It just depends on the ones. Because sometimes I don't like the voice actors on the sub version, so I switch to dub. I'm very picky like that, but yeah.
So which one is better? Because I've seen this debate on the internet like all the time.
Anybody will tell you, oh, you have to watch it subbed. You have to watch it subbed. But everybody knows it's just all in your preference of when you want to watch anime. If you liked it dub, watch it dub. If that makes you happy. If you want to watch it sub, go for it.
Because I think I have heard some like really wild ass dubbed voices before.
There definitely is. That's why some be just like no, watch a sub. So like I said, it just depends on anime. Like sometimes I'll switch between the two just to see which one I like better, and I'll just go with that one. It's just all of my preference.
I mean, I can read, so it ain't
I definitely don't mind reading either. This episode of the Pretty Picnic Podcast is brought to you by Black Artist Space, a global online art gallery promoting the works of Black visual artists everywhere. Black Artist Space was created in 2014 when visual artist Tanaé was fed up with the low visibility of Black artists in online spaces such as Instagram, as well as the crazy fees that they are required to pay. Tanaé decided to create her own artist assistant page strictly for Black artists, where there was no fee to have your work featured. Between 2014 and 2019, Black Artist Space grew steadily in supporters and engagement and slowly became a business. Today, not only can you be featured on the platform, but you can have your online art shops promoted, market your Black-owned businesses for the lowest rates on the internet, and also support other Black artists by purchasing their prints from the Bass Print Shop, where Bass manufactures and ships other artists' work at no fee to them. The artist receives every penny they ask for. Log on to blackartistspace.com today and sign up for their monthly newsletter to stay updated on future giveaways and contests. And don't forget to follow them on Instagram at Black Artist Space and Black Artist Space 2.0.
All right, so let's get into this excerpt for this week. All right. Here we go. One day, when mommy picked us up from school, she told us that she had a baby in her belly. I had been begging my mom for a baby sister for as long as I could remember, and I was finally about to get what I had been asking for. Mommy explained to me that I would have to start going to afternoon kindergarten from now on so that she and the baby could get more sleep in the mornings. I didn't really mind because I got to stay home and watch cartoons and music videos all morning. My favorite thing to watch was Peanuts because whenever Charlie Brown and his friends went to recess, I would, quote unquote, go to recess too. Charlie and his friends would pull out their sandwiches, and I would run to the kitchen and make myself a bologna and mayonnaise sandwich so we could all eat together. I didn't have any friends to play with, though. Terrence was in 3rd grade and in school all day, so he wasn't home to play with me. Mommy stayed in her room asleep until it was time to leave. Daddy was at work. Nobody was watching me, but I knew not to open the door for anyone or go outside. All right. So we're going to be talking about, I think first we're going to talk about my days as a latchkey kid. For those of you who don't know what a latchkey kid is, a latchkey kid is basically a child that was told, a child that had to stay home by themselves, no adult supervision for whatever reason. And they call it latchkey kid, I believe, because it's basically like the parents tell you, like, leave the latch on the door. Don't open the door, you know, yeah. For nobody. And yeah, that's basically how that goes. Your parent has to, for me, my parents, one of them was asleep because they had to work graveyard shift later that night. And then the other one was gone at work. So that's why I was told, like, you know, don't answer the door for nobody. Don't peek out the hole. Don't look out the window. You know, don't answer the phone because I couldn't take messages. Like, if somebody was calling for one of my parents, they like, just let them leave a message on the voicemail. Don't answer the phone. And yeah, that's how that went. So that was when I was... before Taylor was born. So I was in kindergarten. We had just moved to this house when I was, I want to say 5 years old. Yeah, because I had actually already taken kindergarten when I was at the Christian school that we went to. But because my birthday was late, once I transferred to public school, I was too young to go to 1st grade, so they just put me back in kindergarten. So I had to take kindergarten twice.
Wow.
Yeah, which was, and I had already, like, imagine graduating, because you graduate from kindergarten. I graduated from kindergarten. I had a whole ass graduation, and they had to go right back. And I was super smart. Like, when I was in kindergarten the first time, the teacher would have me come up to the front of the class and read books to the class. So nobody else in my class could read. They had me go around reading the instructions in our workbooks to the other students so they would know what to do. So imagine having to go back to kindergarten where nobody else can read again, and I already learned all this stuff. So it just wasn't, like, I feel like my early years, I'll say probably up until 6th grade, because that's when I went to the gifted program. Up until 6th grade, like, I just wasn't challenged at all in school.
Yeah.
I mean, it was whatever. But so yeah, I was in kindergarten for the 2nd time, and my mom was pregnant with Taylor. And like I said, I had literally dreamed of having a baby sister. Like, I begged my mom. I didn't know how baby sisters was made, but I just would beg my mom to give me one. And it just so happened that when she got pregnant, she was having a baby girl. And so, yeah. When I would be home by myself, I mean, I would when you're a kid who number one like is alone. So like I've never been an only child obviously, but I can imagine people who are the only child did this too. But when you're a kid who's alone and when you're a kid who doesn't have adult supervision, you come up with some really interesting ways to entertain yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I was well when I was by myself, I would say the entertaining or interesting ways to entertain ourselves came like later when it was the three of us. But when I was by myself during this time, I would just watch music videos all fucking day. Like I was in love with Usher. I knew every song on the My Way album. Every time his My Way video would come on, My Way or what's the other one? Nice and Slow. Whenever they would come on, I'm glued to the TV. Usher was my husband, G. When I was 5 years old, Usher was my husband. And then I remember watching like Next and Aaliyah and TLC and just everything that I probably wasn't supposed to be watching. And then I would have the TV shows. Like, were you a Nickelodeon fan when you was a kid, or a Disney fan, or a Cartoon Network fan? Like, which one was you leaning more towards?
Oddly enough, I had a nice balance of all of them. Because I love them all.
Sure.
I was.
Likely Story. Nah, you gotta choose one. For me,
that was so hard though because all of them are favorite. I mean, if I had to choose, then probably Disney.
Okay.
Probably Disney.
For me, it was definitely a combo of Nick and Disney. I was not a fan of Cartoon Network when I was that young. When I got a little bit older, yes, but at like 5 years old, I was super into Rugrats, Cat Dog.
Yes.
What was the monsters show on Nickelodeon? The little cartoon monsters. I can't remember what that was called. I love Rocko's Modern Life. Ren and Stimpy.
Yes.
It was this one show. I can't remember what it's called, but it had like these action figures, like little dolls and action figures and stuff that could talk, and they were kind of like a superhero team or something.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
I can't fucking remember, but
don't know the name, but I know. Yeah,
that was my show right there. And then when it came to Disney, I was like all about Disney Channel movies. So
Disney Channel had the best original movies.
They
hands down.
There was a discussion on Twitter recently where somebody asked when was the last Disney show that you watched before you gave up on Disney, pretty much. And for me, it was Hannah Montana. And I went back and looked at what time period Hannah Montana was airing. I'm like, damn, that was so long ago. It was 2006.
Yes, it was.
I'm like, bro. And when you go through the thread and you see everybody else's answers, like younger people, it show titles that don't even sound real. Like, what the fuck is this? I ain't never heard of this shit. Because I felt like I kind of, even though I don't watch it anymore, I felt like I kind of knew like what was going on over there. But they were saying shit I just never even heard of. I think the last thing I had heard of was like Jessie.
Yeah, I definitely watched Jessie. The last show that I watched on Disney that I completely was just like, okay, this is enough, was probably Casey Undercover, which was with Zendaya.
Yeah.
And it's not like it was bad. I'm just like, we're getting kind of dumb here. That one and that other stupid show, Bizarre Varg, whatever the fuck that name of the show was. That one, I was just like, okay, that's enough Disney for me.
See, and like the way people in our age group feel is like Disney is just not the same. It was way better during this time period, but you know, everybody feels like that about their era, you know.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that's on Disney right now, these kids, they're gonna be just saying the same thing in 10 years. When
definitely
shows. It's just like, I don't know, like I can't see nothing but 90s and early 2000s, or mostly 90s. Like, that was just the era.
I miss that era.
It just was. But okay, so yeah, for me, I would watch Nickelodeon and Disney all day. Like, I loved Sister Sister. That was when Sister Sister was coming on, and Brotherly Love, and because this is before Even Stevens and Lizzie McGuire and stuff like that, which was still my era, but this was before that. This was when that Dinosaurs show was on Disney, the little family of dinosaurs. Yes, I loved that show. So yeah, I think the earliest Disney Channel movie I can think of is one is Escape to Witch Mountain.
Yes, I love that movie.
That one had the guy from Brink in it, Eric Von Den. He was also in The Princess Diaries. And I had a huge crush on him. But yeah, he was in there. And then Susie Q. That was a movie where it was about this guy who meets the spirit of a girl who died on her prom night back in the 50s. Like, her and her boyfriend got in this car crash where the car like went over a bridge and she died. And so, like, in the 90s or the 80s, I think, actually, I don't even think it's the 90s or in the 80s, this teenage guy and his family move into her house. And so he meets her spirit. That was like the earliest Disney Channel movie I can remember that I liked. But yeah, that was, man, now I'm like just thinking about all the old stuff I used to watch. I swear sometimes I just wish, I don't want to be a kid again, but sometimes I wish I could travel back in time just to like enjoy those things again.
Me too. Times were so much simpler then.
They were. They were. Man. Anywho.
Nostalgia.
Yes. Nostalgia is some shit that will literally make me cry.
No, for real. Just spiral.
Like, if I can hear the first little tune to Take Me There by Maya and Blackstreet playing, and I swear to God, I'll just start booing. Like, because even though my like childhood, well, actually it was good back then, like before my sister was born. it was good. Like, that was when like I loved all of the toys and the TV shows and the music and the movies. Right. Yeah. And I had my own room for this brief period of time, like right after we moved and before she was born. I think for like a year I had my own room. I think I told y'all the walls was painted purple. And I had all these stuffed animals and Barbie dolls and and books. Like, I would just play with my Barbie dolls and read books all day and just fucking live. I remember the sun used to shine through my bedroom so pretty and light up the purple wall. And I just didn't have a care in the world. Like, school wasn't stressing me out because, like I said, school wasn't no challenge. Right. And, like, I was literally just, I remember my mom used to buy me the cutest little outfits. Like, have you ever seen the little girls wear, like, matching shirt and pants sets where, like, the shirt will have, like, some cute little animal on it, and then the pants will be, like, the print of whatever animal it is. Like, yes. A leopard print. Oh, my God. Like, she used to have me looking so cute at that time. Because later, things changed. A lot of things changed once my sister came. We're going to talk about that in this episode, too. We're going to talk about not being the baby of the family anymore. How things change. Because they really do. But before I get into that, were you ever a latchkey kid, or were your parents?
No, I never was. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was the one that always worked. So yeah, I never experienced that.
Okay. How did you like it with your mom there all the time, like growing up with her there?
See, I was always in my own world, so it wasn't really like anything too crazy. I only remember me being in my own imaginary world where I was the main character. So, yeah.
I heard that. I don't know. That might have been my experience too at that time. Like, I feel that. I wonder. I mean, I guess I do wonder what it would have been like if my mama was at home, or if either one of my parents really was at home like that.
Yeah.
Because even like we say all the time, like we raised ourselves. We really did. Well, me and Terrence raised ourselves, and then we raised Taylor when she got like for real, because they was never. Well, like I said, my mama was there, but she was asleep. So, and actually, okay, once, so Taylor was born when I was 6.5. Gotta add the half in there. When I was 6.5, Taylor came, and it was like an energy shift. At first, it was a good one. I remember the night she came home, because my mama was gone when we got home from school. I believe she was already gone. It was the weekend, I think. Am I lying? Let me look at the 1999 calendar and make sure I'm not lying. But I feel like it was the weekend, because we didn't go to school, because my dad had us like clean the house. He was like, we got to get the house nice and clean for your mommy and the baby. And we was like super excited about doing that for them. So let me see. It had to be the weekend. I don't really want to go all the way back to 1999 actually. So wait, let me see. May 25th, 1999. What date was that? That was... Wait, there's a result that says what day of the week was that, and it don't even say. Okay, it says it was a Tuesday. That's weird. Okay,
a Tuesday.
We was still in school, because we weren't out for summer break yet. Maybe we just didn't fucking go to school. I don't know. Anyway, so it was like, we gotta get the house nice and clean. And my dad never does that. He don't never, like, I told you how my dad was on a previous episode. He was that dad where anytime you said something to him, ask your mama. Like, and he didn't like really watch us. He was that dad that just like listened out for stuff. Well, really, I don't even think he did that, to be honest. But yeah, so the fact that he was doing that was like one of the times where I actually saw him like really, really care. So yeah, we got the house nice and clean. Like, we was like spraying down, wiping down the entire house, disinfecting, cleaning everything. And so when she finally came home, it was nighttime. I remember being in the car, like next to the car seat. And so when she got home, she was this tiny little ball of, I don't want to say joy, because she wasn't evil as a baby, but she became an evil little toddler. But she was this little tiny bundle. And I remember her skin was really flushed, like her cheeks were really splotchy. And I just remember my mom was in bed trying to wake her up so she could feed her. So she's like kind of gently nudging her and touching her cheeks, like, wake up, baby. And she just would not open her eyes. Like, I don't think I saw her eyes open for a while. And kind of, and like when I had my daughter, it really reminded me of Taylor, because she was red just like that. She would never open her eyes, like even when she ate. But yeah, that was like my first experience with a brand new baby. I just couldn't believe it. Like, she was so tiny and cute, and they were feeding her out of these little super tiny like glass bottles, and I was just on their bed, just like excited, just staring at her with my little nightgown on. And that was that. She had this like full head of curly hairs. You know, my daughter came out with a full head. We all did. Me, my brother, and my sister all came out with a head full of hair. So yeah, that was like a happy moment. But like I said, there was an energy shift. Like with my mom, she just became like, I don't know. I'll put it. I'll give you some examples of like how things changed once Taylor was there. So I think once Taylor was like a few months old, we actually would like watch her in the daytime, like when my mama was back at work. So she would be asleep during the daytime, and literally any time she heard a sound that was like louder than normal, any kind of bang or bop or boom, anything, this woman comes storming out of her room. Like I can hear, you know, when you can hear somebody's fucking footsteps booming coming towards you.
Yeah.
And you just getting nervous as fuck. It was like I knew anytime a sound happened, I just waited to hear the sound of the footsteps. My heart would be racing, and she would just storm out the room, grab me by my shirt, like, "What did you do to my baby?" Every time. Like she thought, every time there was a loud noise, she thought I was like doing something to the baby. Like I dropped her, or I hit her, or whatever. I don't know what she thought that I was doing, but it was inevitable every single time. So this probably happened like 4 or 5 times a week. I can't really say for how long that went on. Probably till Taylor was walking. I don't know. But yeah, that was like one. Well, obviously that was like when I knew something was different. And that was like when I became afraid of my mom, cause I didn't understand. Number one, I didn't understand what was going on, and then it was just terrifying to, like, you know, when your parents are mad at you and they make that face where their lips disappear and their nostrils get flared.
Yes.
And like me and Taylor call it her dinosaur face. It was like that was the beginning of that, and that face would I'm not trying to be funny. That face would go on to actually traumatize me. But that was the beginning of that happening, and I mean, me and before Taylor was born, we didn't have like this super lovey-dovey relationship or anything. Because I think I told you, like, in my family, we said I love you all the time, but we didn't like get hugs and kisses like that. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like we had this super close or super lovey-dovey relationship or anything like that, but we was good, you know. I wasn't afraid of her. But yeah, after Taylor was born, it was just like and I don't know what else was going on during that time, but she was like she was scary. I actually just remembered something that I did. Well, the one thing I can think of, or the one time I can think of before this, where me and my mama kind of had an issue. When I was in kindergarten, I had drew this picture at school, and on the back of it, I wrote, "I want to run away from home." And when my mama came and picked me up from school that day, I showed her the picture, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, nice, lovely," or whatever. And then I told her to turn it around. I don't know why I did that, because it was like something that, I don't know, like, I guess you should just know your mama gonna be pissed when she see that. But I told her to turn it around, and she read it, and she was one of those mamas who was like, "Oh, I'll drop you off at the corner," or whatever. You know, she got really mad. But that's the only time I can really remember where she was like really angry at me, you know. I'm trying to I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't really know why I did that, but I was a child. Like, kids do stupid stuff all the time. Like, anyway, and what's funny is that I was actually like life was good back then. I really didn't want to run away from home, but in the coming years after that, I would definitely want to run away from home. That's the ironic part. But okay. So yeah, becoming an older sibling, it was for me it was difficult because, and I'm sure you've seen this, seen people talk about this online, about the struggle of being the oldest daughter, because it's like I had an older brother, so you would think that most of the responsibility would be on him, but it was not. It was on me, especially since I had a little sister and not a little brother. And well, they told me, if we had a little brother, then it would be that way where Terrence would be responsible for everything. But since it was a girl, I was responsible for everything because me and Taylor had to share a bedroom. And I was like, because of that, I was pretty much the person who was around her all the time, kind of like had to watch her. But I had all these kind of responsibilities that little kids should not have. I was 7 years old, making her bottles and feeding her, changing her diapers, bathing her, just like extra. Like, I think it's fun for little kids to like be able to help out with their younger siblings when there's a new baby. They enjoy like helping their parents out with that. But I was literally like doing everything during the time when she was asleep because nobody else could do it. Like, Terrence didn't have to change no diapers. I don't think he ever changed one of Taylor's diapers. And in my family, gender roles was a huge thing, so they didn't believe that a boy should be changing diapers or washing dishes. That was my responsibility as a girl. Wow. And Terrence's responsibility was to take out the garbage, and that's all he had to do. I had to fucking wash the dishes. I was ironing my clothes for school and ironing my mama's clothes, uniform for work. I was washing everybody in the family's clothes. I remember we had this huge downstairs in front of our washer and dryer. We would separate our clothes by color. And it's for this very reason. It's the reason why I wash all of my clothes all together now as an adult, because I'm not doing this shit that I did as a child. It was too fucking much. I don't want to think about this shit ever again in my life. But yeah, we used to separate everything by color. Not darks and lights. No, we had the blue clothes, the purple clothes, the red clothes, the orange clothes. And it's a whole family. Like, we're 5 people. So it's a ton of fucking clothes. The whole basement would just have huge piles of clothes on the floor. And I had to wash and dry all that stuff, bring it upstairs, hang my parents' clothes up, and hang my own clothes up, and hang Taylor's clothes up. So it was just, I literally felt like Cinderella when I was a kid. Because then my other responsibility, when when you're a child and there are things that you see older people doing, and so you think you want to do it because you think like, oh, this is what big kids do. Yeah. That was what sweeping and washing the dishes was for me. Like, I wanted to learn how to do it. And then once I learned how to do it and they had me doing that shit every day, I hated it. Because I was sweeping when I was like 7 years old. Sweeping and mopping and vacuuming the carpet. And then when I was 9, that's when I learned how to do the dishes. I hated doing our fucking dishes because the only people who was at home eating all day was me, Terrence, and Taylor. And we was disgusting with the dishes. Like, the sink would pile the fuck up. It would have dirty dishwater all the way to the top of the sink. So where when it was time for me to wash the dishes, I had to put my hand in that cold, disgusting water. We would put food in the sink. I hate that. Yes. my hand has to travel through all that cold water with all that disgusting squishy food in it to let the water out. And then I had to lift the dishes out of the sink and like wash an entire fucking week's worth of dishes. So I remember I remember one time me and Terrence and Taylor were about to get ice cream after dinner. And it wasn't any bowls clean. So I had to get some bowls out of the sink and wash them. And I'm taking some bowls out. And my sister, we had like favorite bowls and favorite spoons. So I took this one bowl out. She knew it was my favorite. And she wanted to eat out of it. So to stop me from eating out of it, she grabbed and started licking all over. And I had just pulled it out the sink. And she didn't know that.
Wow.
So she's licking all over this nasty ass bowl. That's when she was like 3 or 4 years old. Gee, I will never forget that. She just put her tongue all over it. Disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. So that was my life. Like I felt like all I did after Taylor was born was babysit and clean. And I remember having to take care of her when I was sick with the stomach flu. I was in 1st grade and I got the stomach flu really bad. It had me out of school for 2 whole weeks. And I'm like, I don't know if you had the stomach flu before, but you literally just throw up everything. You can't keep anything down. So even water, I would throw up, and just generally feeling like sick and weak the entire time. And I'm still having to, I remember I'm cleaning up Taylor's fucking spit up, and I suddenly have to jump up and go run and throw up. And it's like, why do you have me doing this, bro? I should be resting, you know?
Yes.
I had like those, well, I shouldn't say those parents, because my daddy, like, he could care less. But my mama, like, whenever I said I wasn't feeling well or I was sick or whatever, she thought I was lying, trying to get out of going to school. And she would just punish me. Like, if I said I didn't feel good, okay, well, if you gonna stay home and you can't leave your room, you can't play, you can't watch TV, can't do nothing, since you want to stay home from school. Like, why am I being punished for being sick, bro? I feel like now,
no
if my daughter came to me and was like, Mommy, I don't feel good, and she was like sick to her stomach or whatever, I would just fucking cuddle my baby and we could just watch movies all day. That's how I feel. But that was not the case for me. So yeah, just like I felt like I was Taylor's second mom. And like I said, I didn't get any help from Terrence because he didn't change diapers and stuff. They didn't want him changing diapers. Well, she didn't want him changing diapers. So yes, that was my life as an older sibling. It was lovely. And it only got worse like as Taylor got older, because like I said, Taylor was a little demon child, and she got away with so much because since she was so small, they didn't believe that she could do the stuff that I was saying that she was doing. They just didn't think she was capable of it. I remember my mama came home one day yelling at me because Taylor's toys were all over the living room floor and all of the coats in the closet were on the ground. And I'm like, Taylor did that, I swear. And she's like, Taylor ain't do this. Taylor can't pull these coats down. She's not strong enough to bring these toys in here and all that. Because they were like in a big ass tub, like this big plastic container or whatever. And Taylor, she was saying Taylor couldn't reach the coats. I watched her do it, like literally grab all the coats by their sleeve and pull them down. And nobody believed she did it because she was so short. They didn't think that she could pull all the coats down. So I would get... The thing about being her older sister was that I got blamed for everything that she did. I got punishment for it. And on the other side of that also was that whenever Taylor would hit me or, scratch me or whatever, just put her hands on me, I couldn't hit her back. I did it a couple of times, and I got in so much trouble. So my mom would always be like, "You're older than her. You could really hurt her, and then you're gonna go to jail, or they're gonna take you away from me." And so I just had to take that shit. And me and her shared a bed. So I remember one week, every time we got in bed, she just turned into this animal who would she would pull my hair. Like, soon as my dad or my mom closed the door after telling us goodnight, she started yanking my hair, scratching the inside of my ears, pinching me, slapping me.
Damn.
And I'm just, yes. Yes. And of course, when that's happening to you and you're getting angry, like, in that moment, you just want to hit him back. And I'm telling myself I can't do that because I'm just getting even more trouble. So I'm telling my parents about it instead of hitting her back, and they don't fucking believe me. Taylor's little. Taylor's a baby. She can't hurt you. And I'm just having to sit there and take it. I'm like literally in pain. Like, I know she's small, but she still got nails. She still could pull my hair. Like, this shit don't feel good. So Taylor was a demon child. Okay. Taylor was 4 years old blackmailing me. 4? Yes, 4.
4-year-old?
No, 5. 5. She was 5. Yes, because what had happened was my friend was having her 12th birthday party. And it was a juking party. And I wasn't even into that. Like, I was that one girl who felt super uncomfortable with the whole thing. And I didn't want to do it. And they would actually try to peer pressure me into doing it. Or they would grab me and force me onto a boy. Which I didn't want that. And he didn't want that either. But that's what they did. And so after the party, I was telling Taylor about, like, imagine my 12-year-old self talking to Taylor's 5-year-old stuff about the juke party I just came from. And she, as soon as I told her, she was like, "Well, I'm telling." I'm like, "What are you, like, I didn't even do it." She was like, "I'm going to tell you was juking." And I knew that my mom was going to believe her if she told her. I knew I was going to get in crazy trouble. So I, like, begged her not to. But every time we would be in the presence of my mom for, like, this went on for like a few months afterwards. Every time we would be in her presence, and Taylor, I don't even think I had to do something that she didn't like. She would just mess with me. If my mama was there, she would just be like, Tanaé, da 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 da, and then, like, acting like she was about to tell, and just getting me, like, you know, nervous. Yeah. Like, she had me in check for a good amount of months because I didn't want my mama to know that I went to it. I didn't know it was going to be a juking party. I didn't know it was a juking party till I got there. I didn't want to juke. I did not want to juke. I was like, I didn't want no parts. But just because I had went and it ended up being a juking party, she was going to trick on me. So, yeah, a demon child. Like, what other kid do you know that's blackmailing their older siblings at 5 years old? How does she even know how to blackmail? It's like, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
And I tell her these stories about herself all the time, and she swears it didn't happen. I'm like, you just don't remember, bro. You were evil. You were evil. It's the Gemini. But yeah, so it was just, I felt like my childhood was definitely taken away from me when I became an older sister. And like, for multiple reasons, like, not just because I had to watch her and I had to do, like, all of the things that my mama should have been doing, but just also because she ruined a lot of stuff for me. Like, I remember I went trick-or-treating when I was in kindergarten, like, after the year after I graduated from kindergarten, the second time. I remember because I wore my graduation gown. And then I went to a Halloween party when I was 10 and got to dress up. those were the only times I ever got to dress up for Halloween or go trick-or-treating until I was an adult. And I remember one year, my cousins, like so many of my cousins came over they had their costumes on and they were all going trick-or-treating. Me and my brother was supposed to go with them. And that day, my sister was like sitting on the couch. We had this couch where like the center of it was like this triangle shaped piece that had like a table where you could kind of like eat a meal on it. And Taylor, she was like 3 years old, I think. 2 or 3. She was small, but like big enough where she was walking and stuff. And she accidentally hit her head on the table. And my mom hears the sound of her head hitting it and just comes out and immediately blames me and tells me I can't go trick-or-treating. I was devastated.
What
like,
the hell?
Just seeing my cousins all dressed up and just leaving me. And I had to go in my room. I remember I went in my room and I still tried to like kind of have my own little Halloween. Like I put on my little plastic high heels and tried to like dress up and stuff. But it obviously wasn't the same. I was by myself.
Oh.
No contact with the outside world. Because, you know, whenever I got in trouble, I had to go to my room and stay in my room. And it's funny because as I got older, like in high school and stuff, they hated that I stayed in my room all the time. They tried to force me to come out of my room. But as a kid, they literally forced me to stay in my room constantly. It's like, shit, I'm here now. This is my spot now. I like it now. Can't punish me no more by telling me to go to my room. But yeah. I think the craziest thing that Taylor ever physically did to me was we had this dining room table. This black like wooden table that had kind of like this gloss over it, so shiny. It kind of looked like it was glass, but it wasn't. It was wooden. And we had our computer sitting on it, and I was just like kneeling next to the table. I can't remember for what reason, but I was kneeling next to it. With my forehead is directly in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And out of nowhere, my head just slams into the table and everything goes black. She literally ran up and just like palmed the back of my head and bashed it into the table. No reason. Just out of nowhere. And it was, have you ever like had something connect with your face so hard that you can feel like the pain radiating from the center of your nose to like outwards towards the rest of your face, and you can't see, like your vision just disappears? That's what happened. It was like that at first, and then
that's
just
insane. Crazy
pain in my head. I was never so angry at her, I don't think, as I was when she did that, because it was just so unprovoked for. Yes, unprovoked. Literally just for no reason, just ran up like, oh, I'm about to bash her head into the table. That should be funny. And just like she could have, I probably did have a concussion and just didn't know it. There were a lot of things
could have gave you in.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that happened to me as a child where I definitely should have went to the fucking hospital. And I didn't. Mostly because it usually happened when my dad was around.
Oh my God.
Like this man, I when I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, me and my brother were like play wrestling on the carpet in the living room, and we had one of those couches that had those circle shaped I don't even know what to call them. It's like some kind of accessory, like the trim of the couch would have these circles all over it. I don't know what material they were made out of. It's like a real super old-fashioned couch. Mm-hmm. Actually, it came from our great-grandma's house. And so we're play wrestling, and I turned over and tried to like grab onto the couch to get up, and my fingers slid across these circle things And it would seem harmless because they're like rounded, but on the edge of them they weren't. They were like really kind of thin. Like imagine like you know how a sheet of paper can cut you?
Yeah.
It was like that, but worse because it wasn't paper. It was like metal.
Yeah.
So when my hand slid across it, and I looked at my hand, all of the meat from my 3 middle fingers was gone. It had
my God.
sliced it out. And so I tried to rectify the situation myself because I knew, you're gonna get in trouble when you get hurt, like really hurt, and you tell your mama because she don't want to take you to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to rectify the situation myself. I went in the bathroom, look for some Band-Aids. Like some Band-Aids gonna do something. Well, I was getting Band-Aids, and I only have one hand to work with because I gotta put them on my other hand. So I'm using my left, and I'm right-handed. That's the hand that got fucked up, the right hand. So I'm using my left hand trying to put these bandages on. They're going inside of my fingers and stuff. I didn't even clean my hand off. Like it's still all bloody, all chopped up and stuff. And so I'm struggling, and I realized that I'm just gonna have to tell my daddy what happened. So he's out in the living room later that day because my hand stayed like that for some hours until he got home. And so he's out watching the game now. Went out in the living room. I'm like, I'm holding my hands behind my back. I'm like, Daddy? And he's not even looking at me. He's looking at the TV still like, what? And I just brought my hands to the front, and he just started cussing. He's just like, God damn it. Because he knew if my mama found out, he was going to get in trouble because he was supposed to be watching it. So he just wrapped him up in band-aids and stuff. Didn't take me to the doctor or nothing. But I wish I could remember how long I had the band-aids on. I want to say like a week. And then when we took them off, my fingers were back to normal. Like they just regenerated. But I feel like to this day, this is the reason why it's so hard to fingerprint me. Cause like your fingerprint regenerates, but like when your finger is damaged like so much, it won't regenerate. Like I know a lot of construction workers and carpenters and stuff, they have like their fingerprints are just fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, my finger meat regenerated, so it was okay. But yeah, like accident prone is not even the word for me as a child. I got a second degree burn on my leg because I ran into a grill. I didn't actually run into it. I walked into it backwards. It was a little baby grill. We used to have pool parties all the time when I was a kid. So, and my dad had just told us, be careful around the grill. Like, he ain't say be careful around the grill, guys. He said if you bump into the grill, I'm gonna fuck you up or something like that. Something along those lines. And so I'm bringing my friends into the backyard and I'm talking to them, walking backwards. And suddenly I feel this feeling that feels like a bunch of spikes are going through my ankle. Or not my ankle, my calf. And I can hear this. Like I hear something cooking. I just didn't know it was my leg.
It was you.
I just turned around and looked down. And I'm just like, I looked down and then I looked up and my dad's friend is right there watching me. He like looking like, so you just gonna leave your leg right here? And then I finally moved it. And I didn't tell my dad because I didn't want to get in trouble. So I just went about my day. We was having a pool party. So I got in the pool, had me a good ass time. What I didn't know is that you're not supposed to get in water after you burn yourself. At least with second degree burns. I don't think that applies to first degree burns or anything like that. But I didn't know I had a second degree. I didn't even know, like, it didn't look that bad to me. Like, you scratch yourself and like if you were to drag your nails across your skin, not scratch yourself, but like drag your nails across your skin, there would be like a white mark right there. That's how it looked, the burn. So I didn't think it was nothing serious. But once I got in the water and I got out, that thing started blistering up so bad it turned into 2 big old fat juicy blisters that covered the whole backside of my leg. And I still didn't say nothing. I got in bed. I went to sleep that night. And my mom got home from work after, working graveyard shift. She came in to like check in on us and stuff in the middle of the night. And it was the summertime, so I wasn't sleeping with the cover on. I'm sleeping on my stomach so she could see the whole back of my leg. She's, what happened to your leg? I'm like, I burned myself and went back to sleep. So she had to take me to the doctor, and they had to peel the blister off, and they gave her this ointment that she had to put on my leg every day so that it wouldn't get infected, and they wrapped it up too. And I remember the rest of that summer was the worst because I wasn't allowed to swim anymore because I got burned. And it actually did end up getting infected, even though she was putting the ointment on there, so it got really nasty. But then also she wouldn't even let me ride my bike because she was scared that the bandage on my leg would get caught in the chain, which was ridiculous. It was hanging down. It was wrapped around my leg. So it was just, that was a terrible summer. Because we had pool parties every week. So the rest of the summer, I just had to watch my whole family and cousins and friends and stuff just have a blast in this 95-degree weather in the pool, doing flips and jumps and shit. And I'm on the sidelines eating oatmeal, fully dressed. I was eating oatmeal and drinking Hawaiian Punch. And just watching them like, wow. Yep. It was so bad. And I'm like, damn, I can't even ride my bike so I could at least have some kind of fun this summer. At least catch a breeze. Can't even do that. So, yeah. I busted my nose so many times as a child. Like, have you ever busted your nose before?
No.
It's that same feeling that I was describing to you when my head went into the table. where it's like this pain that radiates throughout your face. Because, let's see, the 2 times that I can remember, I busted my nose several times, but the 2 times that I can remember for real was once when my parents were having a party, like all the adults were upstairs and all the kids were downstairs playing and stuff, and we had this table down there, so we were all jumping off the table and like flipping and landing on the couch and shit. That's the type of shit we used to do. And so me and my cousin Janine ended up jumping off the table at the same time, and we crashed into each other in the air, and she was a lot bigger than me. Yeah, she was a lot bigger than me. I'm tiny now, so just imagine how tiny I was at like 8 years old. So she knocked me out the air, and I landed face first on the wooden armrest of the couch.
Oh,
I remember it too. Yes.
God.
What's funny about these stories is that I never cried. It was like pain just did not like really affect me. Like, I never cried from physical pain growing up. It was always like emotional shit. And I got hurt really bad a lot of times. Like, can you imagine landing like that? So me and like 2 of my cousins, one on my left, one on my right, we walk upstairs with me. It's blood pouring from my nose. It was really dark blood too. It looked like barbecue sauce. And I just walk up to my mama, and she just see me, and she like, this is a regular day. She like, shit. Like, here we go again. This is just like so typical today. They was used to it at that point. And then the other time I busted my nose, I was actually about to get in the car, and I started opening the car door, like the driver's side. I started opening the car door. And my brother, he was in the passenger seat. Like, we was just about to sit in the car and, like, listen to music or something. So I start opening the car door. And before it's all the way open, I turned and looked behind me. And then I turned back as soon as the door, like, jerked open all the way. And the top, like, corner part, the pointy part, crashed into my nose.
Oh, my God.
Like, it knocked my head back. And I'm just holding my nose. And I'm like, Terrence, pass me some of them napkins. And he's, like, looking at me like, are you bleeding? I'm like, can you pass me the nap? Are you bleeding? Like, what the fuck do you think? If I'm asking for some fucking napkin. Yes, nigga, I'm bleeding. It's like, bro. Like, why are you just staring at me instead of passing the napkins, bro? Like, but yeah. Busting your nose is just, I really think that all those times that I did bust my nose really changed the bone structure of my nose. Because my nose, if you look at pictures of me as a child, like, well, okay, the last time the time I just told you about was when I was like a preteen. So if you look at pictures of me from that time period, like child through preteen or teenage years, and then look at my nose now, you would think I had a nose job, for real. My nose is so much thinner now, and the shape of it, like the notch, is just different. It really looks like I had a nose job, and I honestly think it's because of all the times that I busted my nose.
Your injuries.
Yes, for real. And it's hard for me to, I have tiny nostrils now. It's like difficult for me to breathe just out of my nose. I have to breathe out of both my nose and my mouth. So, yeah, that was, Tanaé was super duper accident prone. I have more stories, but I don't want to just talk about my accidents all night. Like, I done went off on a tangent. I ain't even letting you talk. I'm just telling you stories.
No, I'm just listening.
But yeah, that was, I think that like pretty much covered what it was like for me being a kid at that age, being an older sister. And like Taylor wasn't the only one who caused me bodily harm. My brother definitely did too. Like me and my brother, we used to fight. Me and my brother were huge fans of wrestling. So he used to do wrestling moves on me. Like literally would tombstone pile drive me, do the last ride on me. I don't know if you know what those moves are.
I do.
Girl, like onto the couch at least, but still, it's like, bruh. And then we would fight when we were mad at each other. It's funny how they never told him not to hit me because he could really hurt me, but they always told me that when it came to Taylor. I just got my ass beat. I didn't get my ass beat, but he hit me like I was one of his friends, like one of the boys in his class or something. So I don't know what that means. Crazy. Yeah. So that's basically my story on being a latchkey kid and having like kind of busy neglectful parents. It wasn't all bad. Like I said, we really came up with creative ways to entertain ourselves. Like me and Taylor, we used to tie a jump rope we would open the cabinet door of the entertainment center and put one end of a jump rope in there, close it so that it was secure, and then one of us would turn the other end so the other person could jump. And we could do jump rope without having another person, because Terrence wouldn't do that with us. Yeah. So we did that. Of course every kid plays like when the floor is lava. We did that, like running Definitely. Around on top of couches and stuff. We used to quote unquote film our own TV show, because I got this karaoke. I got an American Idol karaoke machine that came with a camera. And so really we were supposed to be like in front of the camera singing and stuff into the microphone. But what we decided to do was come up with a talk show. And so we would use the microphone, and me and Terrence, it would be the TJ and Ananda. So Terrence was TJ because he's Terrence Jr. And then Ananda is this character that I created where I put my Bratz doll head on top of my head and like put my shirt up over my head so it looked like she was a person. like I had a brass doll head. And I would sit, like I would be his co-host. So that was like just one of the goofy things that we did to like have fun.
Definitely, yeah.
And Taylor was probably like 4 or 5 at this time. She was still tiny. And me and her would play little goofy shows. We would like fill our shirts and our pants with clothes to make it look like we had big breasts and big booties. And I remember one time we were supposed to make it look like we were fighting. So I was throwing like uppercuts and she was like throwing her head back to make it look like I was really hitting her. And then I stopped throwing them and she kept throwing her head back. So she was just standing there throwing her head back when nothing was happening. And that was just like one of the hilarious things I caught on camera. We caught Taylor like running away and slipping on a pile of sales papers and falling on her ass. That was hilarious. We basically were recording like little home videos of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I still had like a couple tapes, but I recorded over them with some TV shows, like 90s TV shows. I recorded in the house, that LL Cool J show.
Yes, I remember that show.
And some other UPN shows. I recorded over it with some UPN shows. I wish I didn't do that though. I think I still have one left that actually has us on it. But yeah, they were VHS tapes, so you know.
Yeah.
Did you like You're familiar with a VCR, right? Like actually using one.
Yes.
Okay.
I am.
Because other people act like VCRs were like 50 years ago, geez. So,
no.
I just have to ask. Like my grandma still has her VCR. And I'll still like pop a tape in. If we have it, why not? But yeah, so we were recording on VHS tape. But yeah, damn, that's crazy. Like, that seems so long ago. I mean, it was. Like, I swear I be thinking about the fact that I can remember things that happened 25 years ago. I'm like, 25 years is a long-ass time.
It really is.
Why do I have memories from 25 years ago? Yanni? Why? I'm so old.
I don't even know.
I'm so old. You're not even 25 years old. Oh my God.
I'm not. No. Turning 24 in a few
I
months.
have memories that are older than you, Yanni. That's fucked up. You know how people
you
always
just have this
say
exceptional memory.
I mean, that too. Like, my short-term memory is non-existent. But remembering things from like 20-some years ago, I definitely...
My memory altogether is just terrible. A short-term, long-term, can't remember shit for anything to save my life.
Damn.
You couldn't even get me to recall anything that happened last year because I don't even know.
You know what? I think, like, okay, you know how you say you blocked out some memories? I think, like, it's the same for me, but it's not, like, stuff from a long time ago. It could be, like, random stuff throughout, like, the years that I just blocked out and don't even know. Because when I think about it, when I try to think back on certain years, I'm like, damn, that year was a blur. I don't even remember what happened that year.
That's me most of my life.
But it's like other years where I remember every fucking thing that happened. So, I don't know. I mean, there definitely has been some pretty traumatic years. Like, definitely mostly when I was a minor, but they didn't really get that much better as an adult. It was just like a different kind of trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good stopping point right here. I think I have sufficiently talked your ear off for the night. Which is funny because I was the one who was tired as shit when we started.
And now it's the other way around.
Yeah, I just woke right up. Like, don't get me started, man, on talking like about shit, because I will just go on, which is why I have a podcast. Because I just go on and on and on and on.
Which is totally okay.
Okay. follow Pretty Picnic Pod on Twitter. Keep up with us on the website, which is tanaebrianna.com/podcast. I have updated it so that it also has our episodes on there, so you can listen to it there as well. We are on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube, of course. My YouTube is Tanaé Brianna. That is also my name on all of my socials, Instagram, Twitter. You know, well, that's pretty much my socials. There's no other ones. Yanni, go ahead and give your information.
My Twitter is Yanni_, and my Instagram is Yanni Mommy. And you can also follow me on Twitch at Yanni Mommy also.
Yes. I have been like pretty active on the Pretty Picnic Pod Twitter. So I think eventually I want to get Yanni to be able to like put her thoughts on there too, and then we just like sign whoever like tweeted this, like at the end I'll put a T in and she could just put a Y at the end when it's her saying something. But right now it's just my thoughts on there. But yeah, I wanted to keep it like really normal, where like I'm saying stuff on there that I would say on the podcast or like on my own personal Twitter. So yeah, it's not just gonna be 100% podcast stuff. But I try to keep it light on there. I don't put nothing too crazy, you know, just like my funny, random, fleeting thoughts. But I'm gonna start the TikTok soon, so I can start posting like funny quotes on the TikTok. Get people to come and listen, and also might put some quotes from episodes on Twitter. Actually, you know, significant things that I said, significant things that Yanni said. So yeah, we're gonna really start promoting the podcast soon. We're getting some new listeners. We have 13 so far. So we're getting there. Yes, I think after the first one we had 6, the first episode. So we're at 13 now. So we moving on up. As long as we're making progress, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
I want to thank anybody who is listening. Thank you for showing the podcast some love. We're like, you know, this is my first podcast. I think it's Yanni's first podcast too.
Yes.
So, you know, we're learning as we go. We're gradually getting better. I can definitely say the sound quality on this episode is better than the first 2. And we all know why. But yeah. we're you know, we're like I said, we're learning as we go. So it's only up from here. We're making mistakes, but we're gonna get better. So thank you for listening and just showing support and having faith that we can actually entertain you. Definitely email the Pretty Picnic Pod. I don't know why I can never remember the email address. Let me check. It is prettypicnicpod@gmail.com. And like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll talk to you on the next episode, guys. Bye.
Good night.